What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 2 for 2, your sports podcast for the culture, by the voices of the culture. I'm your host, Quis, and I'm here as always with my brother, Nell, and we're back with another episode of 2 for 2 for you guys today, man. It's season 3, episode 60. Let's get it. Nelly, my brother, how you doing?
Feeling good, man. It's that time of the year. Got all the sports going on. Basketball's almost here, so we feeling good, man.
Yeah, I see you got the Cowboys hat back on. Must mean
Yeah,
something happened.
A little something. You know, you called your man Walt last week on the episode, and you know, he said we was ducking smoke, but we went down to Pittsburgh, and you know, weather delay and all, we handled our business.
Hey, they tried to mess it up for you, man. They said it couldn't be done. You know, no Micah. You said, you know, you only got CD out there. You don't have a run game. You said, and Walt said that all they had to do was run the ball on you guys, and they would be successful. Y'all did a pretty good job.
Luckily, we stopped the run somehow, and you know, we got a little run support ourselves. We got a little run support ourselves that game. Rico Dowdle, shout out to him. Surprising.
Hey, man. So, hey, right into it. You know, week 5. A lot of fun stuff. We've already talked about, you know, your Cowboys taking on the Steelers, knocking them off on the road. Fun game.
After they tried everything to give that game away.
They did. I mean, I couldn't even stay up and watch it. I fell asleep around halftime.
I didn't see a single snap of it live. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Man.
Hour delay is crazy.
How you watch it knowing that y'all won?
It wasn't fun, but kind of takes the excitement away. But I mean, still, even watching the game, like, I didn't know Dak had all those turnovers, and I was just like, bruh, every turnover was just like, even though I know they won the game, they were still pissing me off because they were just so bad.
Yeah.
And then you had the fumble at the end of the game. I was just like, what the hell? Like, if I watched that game live, like, I don't know where my health would be. Like that was insane.
Nah. Hey, I had a bad one for my health actually as well. Well, you were saved, but I was not. On the other end of this 2 for 2 thing, my Buccaneers lost a
Thursday night game.
Yeah, probably the best Thursday night game I think we've probably ever seen to date. That's my opinion. Even though I don't know all of them, but I mean, it's good to see. We actually played them on Thursday night a couple years back and got 30-piece. So I was a little nervous, even though I didn't tell you all of that. But I mean, great game, but we lost, you know, overtime, one play, bunch of missed tackles, touchdown by some dude named Hans. Those are the toughest ones to lose, man. You know, when all things went right, you know, just about. And the offense looked good. I mean, defense was pretty good. Tackling wasn't great. We lost some people to injuries throughout the game, but I still felt like we were the better team. Like, just watching the game, I'm like, I'm not worried. Like, I'm good. This is fine. Baker was cool. It was chill. Run game looked good. Rashad White had a great game. Told y'all to let my boy heat up. But we lost. Goddamn Kirk Cousins, man. You know, Refs schemed us. Yeah, the pass defense was atrocious. I mean, Todd just... Whatever, man. Whatever. The good thing is it's been about a week since the game, so I don't even need to get too deep into it with y'all. Definitely didn't go to work on Friday.
Can't say I blame you.
That's all I'll say. How about them Ravens, man?
Was it just the game just the reason you didn't go to work on Friday, or was there?
Yeah, it was the game.
Other...
We moved on. Okay. We moved on to the Ravens. Yeah, I told my students, you know, I was like, look, if my Bucs lose, hey, not coming anymore.
Respectable. And you gave them a warning, so.
Yeah. And my health wasn't good, like you said, after that. When I woke up, something didn't feel right. One of those. So we were talking about the Ravens, who just pulled it off against your guy again. Somebody told me Lamar can't beat Joe Burrow and all this and that. Hey, walk them down on the road. Josh Allen was 9 for 20. I think it was 9 for 20. He could never be Lamar. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are back. They figured it out. Derrick Henry had probably not his worst, but a really bad first 4 quarters, overtime. That's why we signed you. And unfortunately for everybody, as long as they have that, don't know how they're not going to be easy to beat, bro. They're not going to be easy to beat. They're not going to be easy.
So they run into the Chiefs, which
Whatever.
seems to be their kryptonite. But yeah, I mean, this is why we've been hot. We were, high on the Ravens coming into the season, even if, some people weren't. And then obviously they got off to a real slow start, hit rock bottom with that loss to the Raiders at home. But, sometimes you need those, learn a lot about your team, and still early in the season, and they were able to make an adjustment, and Derrick Henry, finally came back to life. They kind of figured out that run game between him and Lamar, and saw them get the tight ends involved a lot against the Bengals. So if they can keep, progressing this passing offense, I think they're where they want to be in terms of being able to run the football. So defensively now is kind of where they've been struggling, giving up like 25 points a game. I think they were the number 1 scoring defense last year. So that's definitely something for concern. But offensively, I think they're improving week after week, and you're kind of seeing some more layers to this team. And Lamar Jackson made some insane plays at the end. The one where he stiff-armed the guy and threw the touchdown pass. That was
I don't know if it's Henderson.
It was like Hubbard or something like that.
Yeah, Sam Hubbard.
Yeah, so that was an electrifying play. So, and just like that, 3 straight wins, and might be in the driver's seat to win the division again.
Hey, it's exciting. Lamar and the guys. I mean, they've got a big one this week. We'll get into that in a little bit, but the Commanders, big win, surprising some folks. We said it. They might be okay. We didn't say they would be great. We didn't think they'd be this good now, but we did say.
Anyone saw this?
We said they had some pieces that if the pieces came together, they would be able to win some games. They got a playmaker at quarterback, So shout out to the Commanders right now. So I had to give them I'll give them a little shout out, just a little bit. I got some friends that's gonna be like, "Yo, I ain't talking about." All right, hey.
They're one of the more fun teams to watch in the league right now.
Yeah. Hey, the NFC East is fun. Who would have thought the Giants and the Commanders would be 2 of the more entertaining teams to watch out of that division? I mean, obviously, I feel like y'all and the Eagles are more fun to watch now just because people want y'all to lose. You feel me?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone's enjoying watching the Cowboys.
There's some
fan or hater. It's just nasty football.
That's just how y'all are. That's how y'all are. Out in Cleveland, is it time for Deshaun Watson to sit down? You ate a W 2 episodes ago. Jameis is right there, and Deshaun looks disgruntled. He just looks off.
I mean, we know the NFL and sports and politics. When someone's making that amount of money, obviously he had at the time the record $230 million contracts. He doesn't look worth $2 right now.
No.
The way he's playing, just no confidence in himself, holding on to the football too long, just not making any plays downfield. Just doesn't look anything close to the guy that we grew accustomed to in Houston. So, I think if this was any quarterback that didn't have the dollar signs attached to him, I think you would have already seen him bench. You saw the Patriots are starting what's his name, Drake May.
Yep.
Yeah, they're starting him after their 1-4 start. So I think when you've got that kind of money and that name attached to you, you got a longer leash. But I mean, certainly, I don't think he's going to be able to turn it around at this point in the season. So whether they finally decide too much is enough, and they make a change at quarterback, I'd be surprised. But it'd probably be something that they need to give their offense a boost, or some kind of energy, change the scenery, whatever. But it's not looking good for Deshaun right now. He looks he looks awful. Just plain and simple, he just looks awful. And the team overall just looks bad. And especially when you think about Joe Flacco, where he took this team last year, even without, a lot of people bring up Nick Chubb being out. Joe Flacco didn't have Nick Chubb services last year.
Nope.
Same receiving core for the most part is still there. Just quarterback's just not getting it done.
Nah, he's got it. I mean, it's time to sit back. We don't know all that's gone into it, from a mental side, a physical side. I don't know what's going on. This, like you said, this isn't Deshaun Watson that we knew. The guy that, they talking about, what did Dabo call him? Michael Jordan? Like,
Yep.
Like, that don't look like
it's
Michael
not. It's not even Wizards Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no. This might be like right now Michael Jordan. That's
the Michael Jordan that got cut from his high school team.
JB Jordan.
Yeah,
man. Yeah, it's bad. But like you said, we saw what Joe Flacco could do. They've got a veteran, a savvy guy that's thrown for 4,000 yards before, 30 touchdowns. I mean, if nothing else, it'll get exciting out there in Cleveland. We'll see. We'll see what goes on. Jameis Winston time, I think it needs to be right now. Last thing, man, Robert Saleh, as of this morning, the day that we recorded this, fired. Walked into work. Young fella said, "Why you here?" See you later. Or, old fella probably. They said it was the owner. Old fella walked them right up out of the building, sent them on the way, man. Was this on Saleh or Rodgers? I mean, I know Shannon Sharp went off on Rodgers the other day, went off on Orlovsky about not going off on Rodgers. The Jets offense hasn't looked great. They got Nathaniel Hackett over there, who Aaron Rodgers wanted as the OC. They said that Saleh was considering firing him before he got fired. A lot going on in New York, man. What's the deal now? Is this the right choice, Trent?
It might have been a necessary move. And we all know, I discuss, the impact of coaches, all the time with people. But when heads got to fall, and obviously this is a team that you brought in Aaron Rodgers last year, and obviously he got hurt, first, second play of the game, and that pretty much just ended the season right there. You've had a top 10 defense the last 2 years, and you felt like if you just could get a quarterback, you had a pretty good young receiver and running back and Wilson and Hall, and you thought all you had to do was get a really good quarterback up in here, and you'd be in contention for a Super Bowl. And they just haven't looked like that with Rodgers back healthy this year. He's coming off an injury. He's 40 years old. All that's true, but you still expected this team to be a lot better than what they've looked like this season. So, and I think when you kind of look at the relationship between the coach and quarterback, and kind of the back and forth in the media, the talks about accountability, the rating was kind of on the wall. It didn't surprise me at all, especially after the last 2 losses that they've had, where offensively is really the reason that they lost the game. Obviously, they got off to a slow start in London against the Vikings, down 17-0, but they came back and had a chance to take the lead, and Rodgers threw an interception. He had 3 of them that game.
3? Yeah.
2 in the first quarter, and obviously you have a loss at home to the Broncos where you only scored 9 points. Some of that stuff's just unacceptable. There's been multiple reports about him losing the locker room and respect to the guys. So maybe the interim head coach can come in and spark some new life into them, but the way Rodgers looks, I don't see it happening. I think they, if they could get Devontae Adams, that'd be awesome. But I think the reason they're really struggling is they just haven't gotten enough from their run game. I thought Breece Hall was going to be able to really take some pressure off of Rodgers coming into the season, so he wouldn't have to do so much. But I mean, their ineffectiveness to run the ball has kind of put a lot of pressure on Rodgers, and I just don't think his body can really handle that. Offensive line, it's been okay, but Rodgers still has to, not enough time to throw the ball. We know the way he likes to run an offense, everything's catered to him. And it just hasn't been working out. So you got to point the finger somewhere. And in most cases, it's always going to be the head coach first. So it doesn't surprise me, but I also don't know if this move is going to help them moving forward.
Yeah, it's not going to change anything. I mean, to your point about, losing the locker room, I just, my mind goes to how much of that comes from, bringing Aaron Rodgers in, and let's say that relationship between him and Saleh was like, a little iffy, right? If I'm a player on the Jets, and then this Hall of Fame quarterback, this legend kind of walks into the building, he not rocking with the coach, he looking at him being like, disrespecting him and doing whatever, pushing him off of him in the middle of the game, like whatever the case is. I'm probably like, oh, coach going for that. You know what I'm saying? I might not respect him either. So, I mean, I'm not saying that to discredit Saleh, but I'm just saying, that kind of points to your quarterback, right? Like you in the NFL is like your head coach, and then they look at your quarterback, and then they kind of assess everything else from there. So it's like, all right, we obviously not gonna move on from Aaron Rodgers at this point. He shows moments of that greatness still. Like he's not bad by any stretch, but it's kind of like when Tom Brady got into that last year. Like things in Tampa weren't perfect anymore, right? And these are older quarterbacks they're not Lamar Jackson, they're not Jaden Daniels type, they're not running around. So like Aaron Rodgers doesn't have time to be worried. You know what I'm saying? If he has to worry about time, he's gonna probably look pretty bad. So, I'm not saying that's all thing, but we do need to look at the quarterback play. It hasn't been stellar. 3 interceptions, even although we said that Vikings defense is really, really good. I mean, this is Aaron Rodgers, right? Like, I mean, this we've seen him. He's seen everything, at that point. So, hats off to the Vikings for getting it done again. But, I think now, at this point, when you fire the head coach, the next man is going to be on Rodgers. So all eyes going to be on Rodgers. We'll see what goes on because it's not going to be on the interim. At this point, I don't think they hire her coach right now. So, is what it is. But we'll see. Jets have a fun one coming up this week, so we'll get into that in a second. But let's
And
go ahead.
they win that game, and they'd be tied for first place in the division. So there's still time to turn the season around.
Yeah, really, 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 really big one. I want to see what's going on. I need to see if this Adams trade is going to go down. I need to see, what's going to go on with the Jets. So all eyes will be up in New York for the next couple of days for sure. Now let's hit our week, our power rankings after this week. I don't know how much it's shuffled for you. Mine hasn't shuffled a ton, but let's hear what you got.
All right, first I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Still undefeated through all the injuries. Now they got Kareem Hunt in there at running back, and
he looked like his old self.
It's crazy.
Kareem and Juju. What was this? 2017, 2018? All over.
Yeah, and when Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill and Mahomes just kind of took the league by storm, and obviously that trio had to end a little bit prematurely due to certain circumstances, but he looks good, giving them a run game that they desperately needed, with Pacheco on IR. So with that, Kelsey's kind of starting to get back into form. Xavier Worthy's making some plays, so you still got, best quarterback in the game, Pat Mahomes. So they'll stay at number 1 for me until further notice. 2, I'm gonna put the Vikings there.
Yes, sir.
Don't know what's going on, but it's working.
I don't know why.
Got quality wins too. Houston, New York, forgot who else they beat. Just a lot of good wins. Like you said, defense has been awesome. Sam Darnold, even he had a couple turnovers last game, but still him and Justin Jefferson have been clicking. And they're just getting the job done. So I'll have them 2. I'll put the Lions 3rd. They were on a bye week, but still 3-1. Had a big one against Seattle. couple weeks ago looked impressive. 4, I'm putting the Ravens back in there. 3 straight, impressive comeback win against the Bengals. I am concerned about their defense a bit, but, as long as you got Lamar and King Henry, you give yourself a chance to win games. And then 5, I'm going to put the Texans in there. And I said Texans and Bills game was going to be a big indicator of how my top 5 goes. And even then, I still wasn't super impressed by the Texans. Obviously, a good win at home against a quality opponent. Diggs' revenge game. But it was 17-3 at half. Up until that last field goal, which the Bills pretty much just let them get that by throwing the ball 3 straight times with 30 seconds left, and not having them use any timeouts, which was just an insane coaching decision.
Let it out.
But I don't know what it is about the Texans. I love the chemistry and connection with Stroud and Nico Collins. I think his chemistry with Diggs is getting better and better each week. But they just haven't had a win that I just feel like is truly dominating. They like I said, only 6 points in the second half, and Josh Allen, had a couple of opportunities to take the lead in that game and pretty much end it. But give credit to their defense towards the end of that game to get a couple stops. Stroud had that late turnover that almost gave them a chance to take the lead. So I think they're winning, even if it's not under the best circumstances. So I got to give them credit for that. And like I said, quality win. And I don't know who else I would put in my top 5 because the NFL is just all over the place. So I'm gonna go with the Texans for now.
Crazy. You got the same top 5.
Hey, now.
Yeah.
What's up the order? What's the order looking like?
It's the same exact order.
Same exact order. Okay, we 2 for 2, man.
Hey, Chiefs. I want to put the Vikings ahead of them sometimes, but I'm like,
I thought about it,
playing great.
Yeah,
Pat's on a pick every game. They're still winning, and it looks pretty comfortable. They just know how to win. You know what I'm saying? I got the Vikings at 2, like you. Feeling good about the Vikings. DNA. The Lions at 3. I got them on there. I'm a fan of the Lions. The Ravens 4. I think they cooking. They're finding ways to win as well, and that's good to see. Regardless, that Bengals game. Jamar Chase went game breaker on them. Burrow threw 5 touchdowns. T. Higgins had a great game. Ravens were down.
I'm feeling like I need to put the Commanders in there, but
I was gonna say. So I'm
still holding off.
My thing is their wins are kinda their best win is what? The Texans, I think they beat the Texans maybe.
Nah.
Was it the Texans? I made that up.
So they beat Cleveland, they beat Cincinnati, they beat the Giants.
What I was thinking about.
And I can't remember the other one.
The Cardinals.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about the Bengals, not the Texans. But their offense. They've held the Cardinals. Well, the Cardinals have 14. The Browns had 13 on them. My Bucs beat them. I don't know. They close. I want to.
Offensively, I can't take anything away from them. They look great. What was they at 34 last game, 42 before that?
They won 4
They've been
straight.
putting up numbers.
Yeah, they right there. I'm gonna have them close. But obviously I got the Texans for now. Nico Collins injury. He might be out for a while, so that'll be interesting. But hey, that's why you go get Diggs, right? You still got Diggs and Tank Dell behind them. They need to get Dalton Schultz going.
Hopefully get Dixon back in the fold soon.
Yeah, that'll help him a lot. So I'm gonna rock with him. Give him another week. But the Commanders, they got a big one. So we'll find out this week. So let's go ahead and look ahead to week 6, man. This week now, we're gonna do. We're just gonna have keys to both sides, man. For both teams, or keys to the game, whatever. Picked out some games before. Some good games. Good games this week. Starting with Thursday night game. Niners, Seahawks, divisional game. Both teams not really feeling good lately. Both teams need to win this one. Divisional implications. What's the keys, man? How did the Niners pull this off, man? How did the Seahawks get it?
Yeah,
What's
I
it going
think
to take?
for the 49ers, got to be more efficient in the red zone. Last year, at this point, I think they were scoring touchdowns on 68% of their red zone trips. This year, it's down to 40%. I think a big part of that, obviously, is no Christian McCaffrey. It's easy to just hand him the ball down there.
I feel like Jordan Mason is a capable backer.
He's capable. He's certainly capable. He's been solid this season. Obviously, he had a fumble last week. But I mean, and their kicker went down at some point during that game. They couldn't even kick a field goal. At the end of the game, they had to go for it on 4th and 20.
Yeah, it was like 4th and yeah.
And I remember it being like, why didn't they kick a field goal there? But they literally couldn't. So just got to be more efficient in the red zone, putting points on the board, turning the ball over. Purdy had a couple interceptions. If he can keep it clean, obviously it gives them a chance. I think a lot of pressure has been put onto him this year without McCaffrey, and we're kind of seeing a bit of the ups and downs with him. And this is the second division game already this season where they've just completely melted down in the fourth quarter. So not something we've been accustomed since Purdy took over. It's just something that they got to work through. And, I think if they can put together some more efficient drives and finish with touchdowns and not field goals and turnovers, obviously they give themselves a great chance. Offensive line hasn't been as great as it was in the past. Purdy's been getting sacked a little bit more this season. And then, Seattle's, they've been playing all right defensively. Obviously, they're coming off a pretty big upset against the Giants. Didn't play their best game, but I think they got to get DK Metcalf, get him more involved, run the ball a little bit more effectively, and we'll see what kind of game they got.
Yeah,
but I think
teams...
I think the 49ers will get back in the win column here. I think Brock Purdy will. I got Brock Purdy throwing for like 250 and 3 touchdowns.
I don't know. Short week in Seattle. That makes me worried, man. I think, excuse me. I think both teams need to get their guys going. On both sides. I mean, Ayuk had a big game last week, but I feel like we're so used to that Niners offense being efficient, like you talked about, like being that machine. It doesn't matter who's playing, who's at quarterback, whatever the case is. Somebody's open, Purdy's on time, and it just doesn't seem that way. Obviously having Christian McCaffrey, it's a different beast, right? But at the same time, Jordan Mason has filled in and he's done an admirable job. So, I mean, you got to find ways to win. We're at that point in the season now. Week 6 is coming up. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's tired. Everybody's banged up. So, you got a divisional game. You got to get the ball to deep. You got to get the ball to tie you. Keep that going. Kittle got to get going. Utilize Juwan Jennings. I mean, the guy won you a game, 2 weeks ago. And then he just kind of, just fizzles out as people appear. So, they got to do that. They also got to get to Geno, knock him off his march. When Geno gets in the groove, he's comfortable. But, the Niners have the pieces to get to him and throw him off and make that game ugly. Kenneth Walker. On the other side, like I said, you got to get your guys going. I don't know. Last week, I think Kenneth Walker had, 5 carries for 19 yards. Against the Giants. It's not going to get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Then he, you threw it to him 7 times in the pass game. But, I mean, obviously that was the Giants' strategy. If you want to check down, it will just come with a tackle. But they got to run the ball much, much better. Geno led them in rushing yards last week. 72 rushing. That's not gonna get it done, especially when you also have Zach Charbonnet in the backfield. You know, that's a pretty good 1-2 punch. Kenneth Walker. So they're gonna have to get those guys going, get the run game going. Because you don't want the Niners to just be out here and, have Brock Purdy back there dealing all game, right? And imposing their will. So you got to be able to impose your will as well. This is not the Giants, let alone they lost to the Giants out Malik Neighbors. Like, we're just gonna put that into perspective. Like, we're just gonna put that into perspective. So, they got to get going. Get DK the ball. Jackson Smith and Jigba with Tyler Lockett. Like, they have a pretty good receiving core as well. Noah Fant at tight end. Like, these are teams with weapons, man. You gotta get these guys the ball. So I'll be curious to see how that goes. This week, I like the Seahawks though. I like them on a short week. I feel like they, like you said, some teams had that ugly loss. They was 3-1 riding high.
San Fran dropping to 2-4 would be insane.
Hey, I mean, this would be what the Seahawks have lost 2 straight as well. I don't know, man. I don't see them losing 4 or 3 more, or 1 more to get to 3. So we'll see. We'll see. We talked about the big game for the Commanders. They take on the Baltimore Ravens. If you want to show, improve, what better time? Both teams right up the street. I know that game is going to jump. Good Lord, that game is going to jump. Keys to both sides, man. How can Commanders get it done? And what the Ravens got to do to make sure they don't lose?
Which team is going to keep the quarterback in the pocket? We know how dangerous Lamar is getting out the pocket. We've seen how dangerous Jaden Daniels can be. Both offenses coming in, playing really, really good football as of late. So, we'll see which defense wants to step up. I think that'll be the most important. Obviously, we talked about the points that the Commanders have been putting up lately. Obviously, the Ravens, scoring, 41 last week. It's an interesting game. This is long. I like their game plan, the Ravens game plan, this week. Personnel with the 3 tight ends. Bengals made a huge effort to, try to contain Derrick Henry that whole game. And, Lamar was doing a pretty good job, taking what the defense was giving them. Definitely will need more of that. But the Ravens defense is going to have to show up because this Commanders offense it's been clicking on all cylinders. It's been efficient. Jay Daniels is still completing like 79-80% of his passes. Did have a turnover last week. Not something we've grown accustomed to seeing from him lately. But I think if this one is at the Commanders, right? Not that it matters because they
I think
they
it's
just take a little
Baltimore.
bus trip. I was in Baltimore, yeah. I think this might be either Jaden Daniels is gonna, really tell us how much of a superstar on the rise he is, or I could see this being another one of those games like against the Bills where just wrong place, wrong time, and Lamar Jackson shows the young fella like, this still me up here, and I still run this as the best dual threat quarterback in the league. So I'm interested in the matchup. I think it's going to be real fun. I think it could go either way, but I think the Ravens they just been kind of getting in a groove lately, hitting on all cylinders. A big division win last week against the Bengals. I think they're going to come out and try to jump right on the Commanders early. Don't give Jaden Daniels too much confidence, because he'll sit back there and he'll dot you up as he's proven the last couple of weeks this season.
Yeah.
So, and for the Commanders, just stay efficient. If Jaden Daniels doesn't turn the football over, like I said, this Ravens defense hasn't been stout at all this year. You can put up points on this team for sure. As long as he doesn't turn the football over, it has a chance to be a shootout for sure.
Yeah, my main thing for the Commanders, just stay true. Really, really, Jaden Daniels. Like, what's been working has been working for a reason. This is a big matchup against an MVP. Lamar Jackson, another dual threat quarterback. I could see, the moment being it's a big moment for them, and this is it's time. They're 4-1. They're trying to show the league that they're legitimate. So, but you can't go in there and try to get too big for your britches. You know what I'm saying? So if you do, it'll be that lopsided loss that you talked about, right? It can get murky fast. That Ravens defense, I mean, it's been porous, but I mean, they get after the quarterback still. They can make you turn the ball over, and they make enough big plays for Lamar and those guys to get the ball. And for the Commanders as well, if they can't stop Derrick Henry, this game's gonna be over with pretty soon. Like he's just a game breaker, right? He's had multiple 50, 60-yard runs in just week 5, like week 6. It's like you can't contain. It's hard. I talked about it, that's why I had the Ravens as one of my favorites. I mean, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry together, it's hard to stop that rushing. And then Lamar is playing very efficiently, like you said, taking what teams are giving them. Just making the plays, guys making catches, making the Zay Flowers, he's showing himself as number 1 over there, even without Mark Andrews being really into the game. Still have Isaiah Likely over there making plays. So the thing about the Ravens is they just have such game breakers at quarterback and running back that it's like the other guys kind of just have to do what they're supposed to do. Lamar don't need you to do a whole lot between his ability to scramble and make plays outside of the pocket. You can get open and break some big plays as a receiver over there. So I don't know. The Ravens, they got to just, like I said, the whole key is just stay true to both sides. The Ravens get away from that run game sometimes. We see how they get when Lamar has to throw 100 times, it can get weird. That game against the Bengals, they fought back. Lamar kept them in it. Then they went right back to the well with Derrick Henry, and boom, it paid off. So their game plan will be to run the ball. I'm sure, and it'll be interesting to see how the Commanders stop that. I think it's gonna be a fun one. I'm definitely gonna tune in. I mean, it'll be on local TV, so we'll watch it. What other game that I'll be watching? Unfortunately, my Buccaneers have to play the Saints, our divisional rival, a week after playing our other divisional rival. Saints coming off a tough loss to the Chiefs. My Bucs coming off the heartbreaking loss we talked about earlier. How you feel? What we got to do now?
Hey, man, Baker's just got to
Baker's not Baker.
get Mike Evans the ball, get Chris Godwin the ball. Be quick and decisive. Saints defense has been, still been pretty good this year. They've shown to be the better unit of this team. I know everyone got a little too excited, when they scored 40 points, first couple of games of the season against Carolina and Dallas. But they've come down to earth a lot lately. And I don't know how serious Derek Carr's injury is, if that
Stays
affects
out 2
his.
weeks.
All right, so whoever the backup is,
it might be Spencer Rattler or Jake Hayner, I think is his name. Hayner.
Yeah, so honestly, they can just pray and hope they can get a win, or hope that Baker, gives them a couple turnovers. I think after this loss, tough loss against Atlanta, I think they'll come out focused and energized from the jump. I mean, obviously, offense wasn't the problem in Atlanta. Baker had a lot of impressive drives. But defensively, especially with no Derek Carr, get some pressure on whoever they decide to start. And I think they'll be okay. Contain Alvin Kamara. You do that, I don't think you have much to worry about, personally.
I hope not. I don't really like when you root for my team, but I do appreciate it.
Why not? We 2 for 2 in this, right?
Not today.
Damn.
Just let it go.
I got the Bucs though, by a lot.
I'm sure. Anyway, we've already talked about Derek Carr likely being out. The Bucs have a tendency to play soft zone coverage against unproven quarterbacks for whatever godforsaken reason. key to win is to not do that. I don't care if it's Spencer Rattler. I don't care if it's Hayne. I don't care if it's Tom Brady. We need to blitz the quarterback, get pressure on him.
Be aggressive.
Yeah, we should be in a. Don't root for my team.
My bad.
We should. I've now said this 3 weeks in a row, so we're just gonna keep saying it every week. We should have Antoine Winfield back this week, and hopefully Kalijah Kancey, and hopefully Luke Getke. We played on Thursday of last week, so that's a 10-day rest. While the Saints played on Monday night, short week. Take advantage of that. That's really wild. I thought about that. I was like, that's pretty old. they really gave us one. So we got to take advantage of that. You know what I'm saying? We got to be aggressive. I think we should just come out early and try to impose our will. The Saints, I have no keys for them to win because I don't give a damn if they win. I do. I don't care for them to, so I don't care. If I have to give one, hope Baker plays like crap because I could see a game. I could see a game where, Marshawn Lattimore and
Mike
Evans
matchup.
Get out there and start fighting again. And Baker, being the guy he is, just getting up in there, rah, and, coming off of last week where, like you say, he had a good game, but, he threw for a pretty pedestrian, like 170, 180.
180, yeah.
I could see him, he's been all week, he's telling reporters that he's just kicking himself over that last drive and not finishing. So I can see him trying to do a little bit too much. And we don't need to do that. I don't need to see the script where we force feed Mike in close coverage with Marshawn and get them amped up. Don't need that. So hopefully we avoid that. Saints do that, get in our heads like they traditionally do. This game's going to be unnecessarily close. And I'm going to be really pissed on Sunday at 1 p.m. So that's that.
Just turn on your second team.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Flip. Mike, wait. Ravens win, Bucs lose. I'm going downtown. I'm in sales. We up.
A good time to make.
Sound like a good time, right? I'm not gonna let the Bucs put me down no more. Last Thursday was crazy. Anyway, we got 2 more games. Your boys, we them boys taking on the Lions. Coming off a big win. Lions come off a bye. Cowboys, the run game came alive a little bit, like you said. I'm going to let you take this one over, man. I mean, actually, let me go. I'm going to get my keys. I'm going to let you take this. Excuse me. Cowboys, pretty simple. Don't turn the ball over. Y'all have a thing for that. I think.
Not that simple.
No. There's a lot of things y'all will need to happen. But one specific thing that you need to not do is turn the ball over. Because if you do, and Aaron Glenn's going to dial it up. Those boys are aggressive. Y'all going to have some opportunities to take some shots with CeeDee Lamb. He's have a big game. He should have a great game. 100-yard worthy game. But, Aiden Hutchinson, if you can't block him, get sacked. Dak start doing a little too much. You can kiss the baby. Because on the other side, the Detroit Lions, that offense, keep doing what you're doing. Stay efficient. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, 1-2 punch. Boom. Amon-Ra, boom. Deep ball, Jameson Williams. Sam Laporta, intermediate. It's very efficient, well-oiled machine. Against the Dallas Cowboys, who can't stop the run, according to you, so they should have a good time. If I'm Detroit, I'm coming out there. First drive, I might give you 4 straight runs. You know how Dan Campbell get. Is Micah coming back?
I don't think so.
DeMarcus Lawrence?
But I hope so. I think DeMarcus Lawrence is on IR. I could be wrong, but I think he's out for a while.
Well, hey, establish the run. That's what the Lions got to do. Y'all take care of the ball. They establish the run. Either way, I think this will be a fun game. It'll be high scoring. I hope it's a 2-way high scoring game, but I'll let you. What do you think?
I mean, on Detroit side, like you said, don't get too cute. We are down to our 3rd string corner, opposite Diggs. So, don't feel like you need to attack that side just because we had a third string guy over, don't get too cute, just run the football. And then if you're Dallas, you know, find some way to replicate, that run defense that, we saw against Pittsburgh. Didn't think there would be a game this season where we would outrush an opponent, but we got some solid, contributions from Rico running the football. 87 yards, which you hear it and it's like it's not a lot, but it's more than what we've had all season. He had a 12-yard run early in that game, and that was the longest run by any Cowboy this season. So that tells you how much we've been struggling to run the football. So if they can kind of repeat that success running the football, even if it's not much, just give us something that we can work with. And like you said, don't turn the football over. Dak had just really some head scratching interceptions, especially one in the red zone. We had the fumble in the red zone. Just gotta be smarter with the football. I don't expect us to win this game at all, but like I said, if you don't turn the football over and we can minimize how much they gash us with the run, we might give ourselves a chance. Going back home to the scene of the crime where we took all our L's this season, so hopefully we can put on a show for the fans for once. But yeah, if Dak doesn't turn the ball over, and maybe we can get some contributions out the run game, maybe we can make it a game for you. But I expect the Lions to take care of business.
See, every time I pick y'all to lose, y'all win.
Well, let's hope we can keep the streak going.
They really like my third team, so
yeah. So
yeah, they like my secret team.
Take them and you'll pick them this week.
Nah, y'all burned me last week.
Yeah.
I haven't figured it out yet. Last game of the week that we're gonna talk about, man. Bills versus Jets. Excuse me, I'm gonna say Giants. Bills, Jets. New coach in New York. Buffalo coming off a stinker. I don't really care about either of these teams anymore. You did. You had both in your top 5, actually. Proud you did.
At one point, yes.
Proud you did. So, what are your keys to this one, man? And this game to me has 12-10 written all over it, and just nasty ball. But go ahead.
I think the Bills need to run the football a little bit more. I think they need to lean into the run game a little more. James Cook had, he had a solid game against the Texans, but I think you could go for giving him some more carries. Even if you want to do a couple design runs for Josh Allen. I think I overestimated this receiving core, even though I knew it wasn't, nothing to write home about, no number one receiver, but more so I think I truly overestimated Dalton Kincaid's second year rise. That has not turned out to be the case, has not worked out. It's 2 catches a game, has damn near no impact on the game whatsoever. We saw Keon Coleman have, a big, I think it was 40+ yard touchdown pass in that game. Hopefully, as the season goes on, he can kind of be more of a contributor, because really just the weapons just haven't been there. So I think they just really need to lean on that run game more play action. That'll give them a chance, especially when you're going against this really good Jets defense. Even as much as they struggled this season, that defense still has been the most consistent unit on that team. And then, if you're the Jets, same thing. They got to find a way to run the football. I expected Breece Hall to, kind of carry this team this year and, really take a lot of pressure off Aaron Rodgers. Him and Rodgers and Garrett Wilson are, starting to kind of really build that chemistry and connection. He had 12, 13 catches last week. So, if they can build on that and, try to run the football, because I don't know how many yards he had last week, but you just can't expect, the Rodgers that can throw 300 yards and just carry you to a win. he's not there anymore. So you've got to get contributions out the run game and see what you can do from that. Both these teams need to win badly, but hey, winner of this is gonna be we'll either have the Bills staying at the top, or we can have a tie for first place. So
Hey,
should be a good one. I don't know if it has
yeah,
12-10 written all over it, but
something about it. I don't like it to be high scoring. I just feel like it's gonna be one of them games.
The Jets got to come out with some energy. You got a new interim head coach. Usually, at least for that first week, guys come out a little extra oomph to them, and try to prove some doubters wrong. Try to get a win for their new interim coach. So maybe there'll be a little extra motivation for them in this game. And yeah, so guys got to step up.
Yeah, both teams need to just kind of establish what their identity is, right? Like you said, the Bills, when I watched them early and they were having high success, I think a lot of that was predicated off of how well James Cook was playing, right? Running the football, getting him the ball out of the backfield. It opened up things for Josh down the field, Khalil Shakir. But then there's games where it's kind of like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And I feel that way as well about the Jets. Like you have some moments, right? I think what they said, Wilson was targeted like 20 times or something, which is absurd. But I mean, that's your guy. But to your point, I don't think Aaron Rodgers needs to be throwing it that many times. He doesn't need to be throwing, especially against a Vikings defense that's, playing the way they play, disguising coverages and blitzing guys, getting pressure.
Also can't really run the ball when you're trailing 17-0 at halftime.
Well, yeah, exactly. And
so gotta get off to a quicker start.
Right, need more urgency.
Can't have 2 turnovers in the first quarter.
I would like to see the Jets come out, with some tempo early. I let Rodgers kind of do some things at the line, make some plays himself. I think that's when they're usually at their best. I think that's when he's at his best. Just get yourself going. That's why I feel it's gonna be so low scoring. Both teams are just notorious for just coming out flat and just being I don't know. It's not gonna ruin my what's that, Monday night?
I believe that is the Monday night game.
All right. I'm going with the Jets, man. I ain't giving the Bills nothing. I ain't giving the Bills nothing.
I like it.
I feel like I've been too nice to the Bills. When I'm nice, they become trash. Make me look bad. So
fair.
But all right, it's pick'em time, man. We got to close this thing out. Ending with the pick'em. Nell has made it up, fortunately for him, to 2-3.
Who did I pick last week?
Oh wait, actually no, I lied.
About to say, I thought I picked the Bucs.
You're right.
And y'all folded
1-4. You're right. I thought you had picked us to lose. Dang, yeah. Really don't root for my team.
Why not?
Yeah, man. Just kidding. And I also lost 4-1. We have inverse records now, because your Cowboys.
I'll catch up. You're running out of teams, so I'll catch up.
No, I'm good. I'm locked in.
I picked Atlanta?
No.
Yeah, just mark me down for Atlanta this week.
Atlanta? Who they play?
Don't matter who they play. It's a W.
Play the Panthers. You trash.
Yeah, I'm 1-4. Yo, I need something.
Yo,
I'm leaving with something.
You are trash. Okay. All right. That's fine. What's your confidence level in your Cowboys? And then use a 2 last week.
I probably stay there.
You've been a 2 for 3 weeks in a row.
That's a good place. That's a good place for me to stay. I'm gonna just stay at a 2, so that way they can never piss me off.
Guys, we got to get Nell's confidence level up, man. Y'all win this week, you got to be above a 2.
I might jump to a 4.
Hey,
that's a good little spot.
Yeah. See, I said I stopped picking. This is how it always ends up close. Like, you convinced me to go away from just picking the easy ones and getting some wins. And then I start trying to, you just pick.
This is the first time I picked the layup.
You picked the Ravens over the Raiders and got disappointed. You thought it was a layup.
Clearly, it wasn't a layup.
That's crazy. I mean, I won't pick a layup, man. I'll go with
For the first time.
the 1-4 Bengals to defeat the 2-3 Giants on the road. They're struggling. They need a win. It's not a layup. It's not a layup. That's not a layup.
It's not a layup, but it's a layup.
That's risk. I want
It's
to go.
it's not a layup. It's just it's a little floater from like
I want to go
right
Eagles
below
over
the
the
free throw line.
Browns, but like that's I feel like that's more of a layup. Yeah. Bengals over the Giants.
That's a little
man.
push shot.
We'll take it. We'll take it. We'll get it. We'll test the waters, man.
That's cool. That's fine.
I was
Your
back
upsets is
up
gonna come soon.
Yeah, I mean, I got to use the Bengals now. I don't know how many more wins I'm going to get out of them. And I've used some teams I like already. So,
Yeah.
I think I was at 8 last week. But then we lost. A humbling loss.
Yeah.
But honestly, man, like I ain't gonna lie to y'all. Like I really, like I won't. Like I was hurt, but I was more so hurt because I was like, we should have won. It like
happens.
usually I'm hurt and I'm like, like the Broncos loss was like that was terrible to watch. I had a great time on Thursday. It was just the after hours just got me. I'm not gonna say I'm an 8 because we're playing the Saints and that I know how this goes. I've seen this for a while. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna go back down to about a 6. I'm gonna set a 6 this week. I think neutrally, I think we should win. I love our offense. I think it has a lot of potential. I think we'll get our guys back on defense this week, and it'll be smooth sailing from here because it only gets harder. So we can't drop this one. Or Ty Bowles needs to be fired. That's my 2 cents.
Dang.
But hey, man, that's gonna do it for us today on this episode of 2 for 2, man. It's episode 60, man. We're 60 into this season already.
Flying through the season.
That's pretty crazy. Man, we might go to season 4 soon. Now I don't know. We might see what the people what needs to happen with the NBA coming up. But we'll see. We'll get into all of that. We got a lot more 2 for 2 coming for you guys. We appreciate y'all listening as always. Continue to show love on Instagram, YouTube. The Twitter page is up and running. TikTok. We got Apple Podcasts, Spreaker, everywhere. Spotify. Consume 2 for 2. All right. Continue to show love. We appreciate y'all as always. For me and Nell today, that's episode 60 of season 3, 2 for 2. We out.